Yes, guys, welcome back to Football with Endz. Another day, another dollar, another game we throw away 2-0 lead. But it is what it is. It's only pre-season. Cav is in the building, Gigi's in the building, and Dean is here to talk about all things Liverpool. First and foremost, man, Cav, how are you, bro?
I'm all right. Just had a banana, got my tea. So, yeah, I'm well fed. Got my drink. Middle of the day here. Liverpool have been on. Got loads done this morning. Yeah, I'm full of energy. I can't lie, Jens. Full of energy. I'm feeling good.
Fair enough. The banana was crazy, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's the sugar in the banana. Let's go.
Gigi, how are you?
I'm good. It's the morning for me, so I just had coffee and I'm ready to handle the rest of my day after this.
Let's see, man. And Dean, big up, bro. How are you, bro?
Bro, I'm in a normal part of the day. I don't know where everyone else is, but where are you, Cav? I thought you was in the same country as me.
Yeah, we are, Dean, but my days are long. I wake up at 6 and go to bed at 12. So
it's a different type of day for him.
Yeah.
I hear it. Stretching the days. But yeah, man, everything good, bro. Can't.
Nah, big up to everyone in the building as well. Perfect place to start, man. Liverpool 2, Monaco 3. Good first half. Second half was yeah. I don't even know what to say what happened, bro, but something happened in that second half. I'll let you go first, Cav, and then Gigi, you can get in, and then Dean. What did you think of that game, man? Or first half, I should say.
Yeah, look, firstly, I was just pleased to see a game back at Anfield. Just get closer to replicating proper competition football, right? The States and the tour is nice. It's different. Sort of the content around the actual games is cool to see. But yeah, being back at Anfield, proper pitch, proper, I wouldn't say atmosphere, but the crowd are there. It's a packed house. You're just getting close to the real thing. So that was pretty cool. That was exciting. Sun was shining, all nice things like that. But you said it first half. I'll start with the start of the game and you can work for it how you wish. But we started off great, like just from the off, just off the ball movement, picking each other up, pressing, winning the ball back early. Felt like every single time we went forward, we could score. Obviously, got a couple of early goals in there, and to a man, I would say, bar one player. I would say everybody looked really good. And it was nice to see because we're at the point now in the preseason where we're wanting to see as fans good performances that we think are going to be then taken into the season. And there's some players that felt like they stepped up a little bit in that first half. So first half, yeah, I'll finish there, but dead happy at that point in time.
What about you, Gigi, man? What did you make of the second half? First half.
I wish we could get Ndugue a work permit. That would be great. And I don't mean to start wars already, but if Araujo was there instead of Endo, I don't know that second goal would have happened. But that's just
Nah, fairs. What about in terms of the Ndugue? I saw your tweet, Cav. What did you say? I don't want to misquote you, unless you can tell me.
Yeah, I did see your tweet, and I just stated his name. I copied and pasted it. Didn't want to butcher that up, but I just said the kid's special because he is. He's. I don't know how tall he is. I don't know how much the hair adds to that height, but he's tall. He's strong. He reads the game well. In the first half, he did a little Cruyff turn when we was sort of surrounded by two players. Just oozing a bit of class. And I think bar one mistake, which he quickly rectified, he is perfect. And you're looking at him thinking, how? Like you said, Gigi, how is it that we're going to be short in that area of the pitch next season? We've literally got a kid here that just looks so good. So there's nothing we can do about it. It's a work permit. He'll go on loan. Hopefully we see him again next season. But you can just tell when he shouldn't be so good at reading the game and so intelligent, because it's all well and good being tall, strong, and having like the physical side of your game and having the raw ability. But to put it in practice and win the ball cleanly when stepping in, when so often just give fouls away or get rolled by forwards and things like that, never happened. So, yeah, he's one that we're just going to have to put on into the back of our minds next season. But then we can get excited about come again this time next year.
Dean, man, Dean was smiling like a proud dad as well. And then you get Gigi, you get back in as well. But Dean, talk to me, man. First off, the kid that you said is going to be world class. You said he's going to be world class. I laughed a little bit, not because I don't think he can be, but I thought maybe it's just too much of an early shout. What did you think of the first half?
Bruv,
and your boy?
First off, bruv, was good, bruv. I like pressing, winning the ball high up the field, like just quick passing. As soon as we get the ball forward thinking. It was like back to what we used to seeing, bruv. It was just like it was refreshing, bruv. And listen, I don't know if we scored 2 or 5 goals because the cameraman was doing, I don't know what he was doing here. It was messing with my brain, bro. I swear I missed a couple goals. Like, it was messing with my brain. I nearly broke the telly twice. Like, but, bruv, the quickness of passing, bruv, the quickness of getting out of tight spots, what's it called? And am I allowed to talk about this guy or not? I don't know if Endz likes me talking about Ndikwa. I don't know if I'm allowed to, because every time I speak about him, I'm doing too much. But nah, bruv, I'm happy people are seeing this guy. This, bruv, I feel like he's going to be a really good player in the future. I really do, bruv. And I was so happy to see him next to Virgil, because that's what I want to see. Because Virgil makes anyone look 10 times better, bruv. But we've seen him already. And you saw him today, bruv. Like, and I know we're going to get clowned. We lost 3-2. But if we wanted to win the game, we'd have won the game. This is preseason. People's got to remember, this is preseason. We've got to make changes, bruv. And that first half just showed us a snippet of how we can move from back to front, how quick we can move, and how clean is that striking ability. Clean. And even Grav, bruv. Like, I know he's only played, this is the second game he's played. He looked clean as well. Sabozlai looked more of a, like, just wasn't loud, but he's just like more controlling. Listen, a few more players in showed me the squad's not deep enough, obviously. We know that. But a few more players, bruv. And if we can play like how we played in the first half, I think we're all right.
Nah, fairs, man. Big up Kopic for the redirect as well. Big up to Drift. And obviously Josh was over there. But Gigi, talk to me, man. I'm bigging up Florian Wirtz at the moment because I saw, I keep hearing he can't play in the 10. He doesn't look good in the 10. He's not going to have it. And I witnessed him today just ran the show. He was everywhere. Got on the ball, tried to create. He was aggressive. He was pressing. What did you make of his game?
He was great, but he still has some making up to do for last year in my eyes, because again, like, this was Monaco, right? So like, where I'm willing to give other people, like, it's preseason, like people are getting like back into it. He needs to show it to me in the season. And that's what I'm waiting for with him. It's all well and good for him to look great against Monaco in preseason. But
no credit. You're not giving no credit, Gigi. You're not going to give him no raw, like, certainly Monaco.
No, it's not. I'm realistic, right? And so, like, I want to see it against the competition where, in my eyes, he didn't stack up last year. I think that's fair. I think, like, I don't think I'm being completely unfair to him. He didn't look trash. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like, I want to see it against Newcastle, Arsenal, Manchester United. That's what I'm interested in. That's what I want to see. When I start seeing that from him in the league, that's when I'm going to be like, okay, we have something.
Cal, what do you think? I feel like Gigi's being a bit harsh. Like, it's only all I heard was the only Monaco. That's I've switched off since then. It's only Monaco. So I'm just like, no, I watched him do his thing. I watched him today glide around the pitch and created and got into the right areas, and he was cute with the little reverse. You talk to me, Cal. Gigi's biased at the moment. Well, go on.
No, your point is correct. I mean, it's fair to say, he's got to do it when the season comes, and he didn't do it in the competitions last time out. So that's completely fair. But today, he was pulling the strings. He was in the 10 position, not on the left, not on the right, in the 10. Of course, he's got a little bit of license to roam, but his movement off the ball, to find space and find pockets and then turn on the ball more often than not play the right pass. I think there was perhaps one moment where we were on the break, tried to play through Gakpo running through, where actually there was 2 or 3 other passes that might have been better. But aside from that, he usually plays the right pass. Just looked fitter to me. And I know it's preseason, and I know Monaco wasn't that good in the first half, particularly. And we do have to say that. He just looked a bit fitter. He just looked a bit stronger. He wasn't bouncing off, the opposition in duels. He sort of stood his ground a little bit more. He's tracking back, and trying to cover up a lot of ground. And we can get on to sort of how much still there is a gap in this midfield, especially when we're being broken on. But he's one of the players that's running back and trying to recover the ball. Did it quite well in the first half. So he just had a good all-rounded game. Obviously, he gets his goal, just scrappy as anything, but you take it there. And it's funny because he wasn't actually involved in the Isak goal with the little 1-2. It was actually, I think it was Grav and Gakpo perhaps. But he's the sort of player that's influencing the side to try and play forward, try and play quicker, try and move the ball. If you're a guy that can find space and play it quick, you're going to encourage everybody else to play the same way. So I think he has an influence positively in that sense. He was good. He was very good, very good all rounded. And sometimes you'll see how good he actually was when he comes off the pitch, because in the second half, I know there's a lot that actually didn't go quite well. And there was a lot of changes. But you're almost crying out for a player to be intelligent enough to offer for the ball and just hold it for a second or get the ball from defence to the forwards. There was no one dropping in, linking it well. And in actual fact, not to go on to it now, but in actual fact, the player on a few occasions was Elliott. And then you see what a poor passing display can actually do for you as well. So I think it was good from Wirtz. And look, we've said it. We need him and Isak to perform next season. We're so heavily reliant on those two finding some chemistry between each other. And I think there was a step forward in today's game in that sense.
No, Fairs. What about you, Dean, as well? Or do you share the same sentiment as Gigi? It's only Monaco. Let's not get over gas. Let's not get over hype. Let's just you have to do against Newcastle to win us back.
I understand what you're saying, but we can only base on what we see today. So based on what I see today, he looked like things were going through him today. And he looked like he relished the role, bro. He looked like he was giving a lease of life. He was picking up little pockets. It was nice to see, bro. Like, even like Isak just getting loads of touches of the ball. Like, it's just, it's fresh, bro. Like, just the balls we're playing. Like, we're playing in their half now. Like, it's not all just playing at the back. But yeah, bro, Wirtz, we'll see in it. Obviously, we have to wait and see because of the poor season he had. Well, a lot of players had poor seasons, but based on today, bro, it looks like we got a player there, bro. So yeah, man.
And what did you
go on?
Just quickly, before we move on from Wirtz. In that first off, one thing we've spoken about so much over like probably 2 years is the balance of the team, and like it's quite clear now that the setup for the season going forward is going to be 4-2-3-1. Wirtz is going to be in the 10. Like, obviously, we haven't got Salah now. It remains to be seen who's going to play out on the right. But don't you feel like it's that first up, especially, everybody played well in the forward line because there was so much balance, and it's pivoted off Wirtz in a lot of ways. I know me and you spoke about that a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, no, you're right. In terms of I've always said that you need balance. You need to be able to attack down both sides, left and right, without feeling like you're lopsided and you're only attacking down the right hand side and you're not getting no joy, or you're hardly using the left. And when you do use the left, you're hoping that, it can compensate from what we're lacking over on the right hand side, and vice versa. But to be able to give it to the wingers and actually get some joy, overlapping fullbacks, beat your player, get the ball in the box, it's always going to make it more difficult for the fullbacks you're playing against. So they're thinking, I can't really try and go too far forward because these two are giving us problems. When it's one side, the other fullback can go, oh, I can go because, the right side or the left side's not giving me too much trouble. So I can go and double up on their fullback, and we can then transition a lot quicker. But being able to pen them back, that means the wingers of both teams, they're always going to be isolated. And what you notice, especially in that first half, when their wide players got it, they were looking around for passes, but there was no one on. So either they would lose it because the press was right and the jumps were right, or they would have to set it back, and then when they span, they never gain it back because our midfielders then had time to go and pick apart those second passes. But No, it's good, man. It's good watch. Obviously, it's Kumas that played in the first half, and you're like, he's not going to be the one that starts. You'd think maybe someone else, or maybe it's a Barcola, which is going to be a different proposition as well. He's rapid, he's tricky, he can get around as well. So now
there were
I'm
a couple
loving
of
it.
moments actually. I thought Kumas did really well.
Yeah.
His work rate's good. His movement's pretty good. He's got a knack of sort of getting on the end of things, or at least getting himself in the box. And then it's like that final shot, that final touch, and you hope that will come. But it's what you said. Replace that with a player that actually touch at the foot finish, or the cross into the box is the right decision instead of trying to just shoot when the defender's literally stood in front of you. There's them that sharpness in the box, and sometimes it's got, but it's a bit inconsistent. You can look at that first half an hour especially, and go, not replace Kumas because that's unfair, but put a player in there with better finishing. You can see how this side can score from any side of the pitch through the middle, because that's how we got our first goal. But the wingers as well, just in the game, getting opportunities, attacking the 18-yard box from all sides. I thought was pretty good.
Gigi, how would you break down that second half then? Because that's the side we're going to get bantered, right? They're going to be like, "Oh, Liverpool, you threw away another 2-0 lead."
I can't really judge too much off the second half. I mean, everything is going to be so disjointed when you're making that many substitutions, and there's such a varying level in quality when you're talking about players who are starters on the pitch with players who are preseason players. Like they're not really going to be involved in the first team. So I can't really judge too much off the second half, but I think it's just like a carryover from the last game where it's just very obvious that there's a lot of quality in the starters, and then we can't have that huge a drop off in terms of the collective quality of the subs. You know what I mean? Like we really, really, really do need to build out the bench so that there's not as much of a drop off. Because otherwise we're going to just continue to see the same type of results and inconsistent.
It's true because you look at the subs, right, and you've got two centre backs that come on, and one of them is a DM, can play centre back, but he's naturally a DM in Endo. The other one is Chambers. Yeah, I know, but he's had minutes there. You can just put him in. Then you have Chambers, which is a left back, right? And you're like that you never want to see that in any game going forward for Liverpool Football Club. A left back and a DM playing at centre back. You don't want to see that. What did you make of the fullbacks then, Gigi? In terms of Tsimikas got the nod ahead of Kirkes and Frimpong starting at right back.
I mean, this is my personal crusade. You know that. I don't like. I love Jeremy Frimpong as a person. I think he's a good mascot for the squad. I think that he can be kept around as a squad player to offer, some minutes in limited circumstances. But if Jeremy Frimpong is the option at right back going into the season, I'm really, really unhappy. I'm really, really unhappy. I just don't think that he's going to be able to give us anything of what we need at right back. And I think that there are other solutions that we can go into the market for right now that would give us 60% of what we need. Like, I don't know if we're going to get, the A+ like home run, like, I know I was telling you, I don't need my right back to turn water into wine. We're never going to get Trent again. I don't need that. But what I need is someone who has recovery pace, someone who can actually defend 1v1s and is not going to get caught out if the game gets chaotic and helter-skelter, because it will. That's just that it's going to happen. And Frimpong scares me there. I just don't think he's good enough. And I feel bad saying that because I like him so much, but like it's not going to work. I just don't think it's going to work. And I wish we had additional backup options at left back. Because I love Simicast too, but like I just don't think it's good enough.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Dean, nah, listen, Dean.
So negative, and I don't want to be negative, but I'm like, am I crazy? Like, I just.
No, ask Dean. Dean, do you think Gigi's crazy for what she just said about
No,
Frimpong?
well, if I base it on today, I think Frimpong was alright, to be honest. I don't see him do nothing wrong. Obviously, based on last season, I see your concerns, but I don't see what he done wrong today. His recovery pace was good. He looked like he looked sharper today. Simicast, yes, they both was fine. They played in the first half where we done decent, so I can't see. Maybe I'm clouded because I like the first half, but I didn't see anything they done wrong today. That might be the issue. I didn't see them do anything wrong today. I didn't see Frimpong put a foot wrong today, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he did. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Gigi. Go ahead.
I don't think he did anything wrong. That's not where my concern is coming from. My concern is coming from the fact that, again, Monaco is not representative of the physicality and the quality of player that he's going to be going up against on a weekly basis. And so I would say if we were going to be playing a bunch of Monacos, I think, yeah, I don't think I would have a problem with it, except for like him reliably being in the squad, which is another thing where I'm like, I don't know if he's going to get through a season and not have consistent nagging injuries again. But that's my concern, is that like this wasn't the most physical team that he's going to have to go up against today, and we are going to have to go up against many more physical teams.
I mean, I started off this show by saying first half was good, everybody bar one. And the one for me was Simicast. I thought, the thing with Simi, because we've not seen him in a while, right? When I'm thinking back to Simicast's performances for Liverpool, I get so focused on that sort of deep cross that is pretty good. And I think about that he has got the right attitude and he does work hard. And I'm trying to sort of convince myself we'll be all right with him as a backup fullback. And then I watched today's game and it was like, actually, no, he unfortunately isn't a good footballer. Like, sorry, he's not good enough for us because
he's not a good footballer. He's only played at Liverpool.
Sorry. In context, right? He on the ball, I just don't think he's very good. And then, there was just a few moments in today's game where like one cross he put in and it just like ballooned over the back post and you're just like, Jesus, really? And then there was one or two passes that went astray. And there was a few moments where he did worm his way out of sort of a bit of pressure and stuff, but you could just see that he was sort of weak link in the side in that first half, when everybody else seemed composed on the ball or calm, weight of pass was good, tempo was good, connecting passes, everything like that. He just felt like the one to me that was a bit disjointed and wasn't as good as everybody else. And that's worrying, really, because I'd like to have seen a better performance, because I don't think we're going to get another left back for the next season. But Frimpong, I thought was okay. I thought it was okay today. I thought what was interesting was that both our fullbacks, but you've seen it more so with Frimpong, is they were clearly being asked to follow their man in wherever they go. And at times that took Frimpong on a right adventure, because he was ended up in the 10 position, which, if that's the tactic going forward, fullback, most wingers like to cut inside now. Okay. If they do that, fullbacks follow them in field, that pushes them into an area that's congested and you hope to win it back. Okay, I kind of get that. It's a massive risk though, because what if that player or the opposition team just get a few passes right, they're straight onto a back two. And the back two are then having to come out wide to defend 1v1. Now it's brave. And if you back your centre-backs to be good one-on-one and have good pace to run into the channels and things like that, cool. But I think against better sides, that's going to be a massive risk. And it's doing the inverted job and an inverted fullback role in a different way, because we've seen it under Pep and at times under Arteta, where the fullback goes inverted in midfield to make up the extra man when on the ball. But out of the ball, they're usually in the back four. You know, one might be caught up the pitch, but the opposing fullback is set back. You at least have a 3 and then a defensive midfielder in front. But this was something that was really brave. This was both fullbacks, man to man, with their wingers, follow them anywhere, and just be. And if they have some success and they can break out, just leave. Virgil and Roque will be fine. Don't worry about it. And they were, to be fair. But like I say, against better sides, I'm not sure if I'm particularly confident in that tactic. So they were asked to do a job. That's what the manager wants them to do. In Frimpong's case, he did it admirably. But I'll be concerned if that's what we're doing next season.
Dean, I'm going to ask you, because I'll go back to what Cav initially said about the player that he thought didn't stand out. And for me, I have a difference in opinion. I actually think it was Sobo for me that didn't stand out today in that first half. I felt like he got around, but it felt like he was just a bit short for everything. He was just a bit short in the tackle. He was pressing, but he was mistiming it where he was jumping and the tackle wasn't there, or he was ending up on the other side of the player instead of where he needs to be. I felt like he wasn't where he needed to be today, in my opinion. I thought Tsimikas was fine. That's why I love football conversations. There's a difference in opinion. But what do you think, Dean, bro? Who was the standout, or who was the one that didn't stand out in the first half for you?
I thought it was more of Gakpo, to be honest. I don't like the Gakpo agenda. I didn't see what
3 names now.
I didn't. No.
Gakpo now. Nah, what's going on? Did you guys
when I was watching
in the back of your head? I get it.
No, there was a couple of times where Gakpo got in the way. Like I like the first half, yeah. So if I had to pick something in the first half, right, I see Gakpo. There's a couple of bits he done I didn't like, and it's not even a problem, bro. I'm just nitpicking at foolishness. You get me? It's only a couple of bits I didn't like. That's all it was. Nothing mad. It's not like it's life threatening or nothing. It's just something I didn't like, yeah. And then like the Tsimikas thing, like. I know he's not great in the ball. We know that. But I'm just looking at Tsimikas, what he is. He's going to be second choice. And if he puts a performance in that, I ain't got a problem with that. If that's what you're getting for a second choice. Yeah. And when you go to Szoboszlai, I feel like Szoboszlai was playing within himself. Like he wasn't extending too much. And you saw at certain points when he did rush out and press quickly, see if anyone was following him. But yeah, bruv, Szoboszlai, obviously, we know we can do better. We know that for a fact. I think he was just playing within himself, Szoboszlai. I just think, he was just taking it easy, to be honest, compared to what he normally is. So, yeah, man.
Do you know the thing with Szoboszlai, right? Last season, he obviously played a lot in the 10 when he first came, and, he was pressing from the front. And then last season, he played everywhere, didn't he? And he stood out because he was the midfielder that had legs and was aggressive and powerful running. And one thing I think he's really good at is like the recovery challenges. When the play's already gone beyond him and he has to get back, that's where you see him being able to get back, where most of the players wouldn't have the energy or the power once they do. But I think today it wasn't the recovery pace. It was almost when the play was in front of him and we were being attacked that he couldn't read it well. And it was too easy for the opposition to just step to one side and go by him. And it's like, that's when you've got to be, it's all well and good being sprinting over to a player and being in a duel. But when you're flat footed and having to watch what the player's doing, almost looking to their eyes and predict where they're going to go, or get side on and shuffle them into an area of the pitch that you can then make a challenge, he's not so good at that. So if he's going to play in the double pivot with Grav, that's perhaps where our midfield still looks like it doesn't shield that defense well enough, because neither Grav or Szoboszlai are good enough at reading the opposition, when they break on us, predicting how they're going to play or fronting them up or guiding them into where you want to go. They're just reacting to what happens to them. And often that's a bit too late, to be honest with you. We've seen it a few times today where, again, it's the midfielder just running through the midfield, and we've got players kind of around him but too far away to engage, and it's like he's running. Oh, he's on the edge of our 18-yard box. He's probably going to shoot, or like today, wins a penalty. So that's going to be our Achilles heel next season. It was last season amongst a lot of others, but it's still going to remain for the next one, unfortunately.
Gigi, I'm going to ask you this quick question as well. And then there's a question you wanted to ask. I know how much you did as well in terms of a certain player. But I put a poll in the chat real quick, and it said, how would you rate today's performance? And 45% said 5 and 6 out of 10. 33% says, 7 to 8 out of 10. 16% says below 5. And then 9 or 10 out of 10 is 6%. So mixed bag there. I'm going to drop another poll in the chat for you guys to get involved in. But Gigi, do you share a different player then that didn't stand out in that first half? Because Dean's picking on Gakpo for some reason. I don't know why. I think my shout was Szoboszlai was right, but
I thought Gakpo was good. I don't feel like I really would single any one player out for being bad in the first half. I thought the first half was really good. You know what I mean? Like overall, of course, there's always things that you can nitpick and things that could have been better. But like, I thought even Civicast, I thought the first half was okay. I enjoyed it. I was like, this makes sense to me. I feel like we're starting to click. I can see I can see the way you would want things to be happening and why seeing the players play together. It was something that like last year, like game after game, I still could never be like, okay, I think I'm getting a sense of like what these players playing together is supposed to look like. If I had to pick a player, I just might say Szoboszlai, because I don't think he was as effective as I've seen him be in the past, but I don't think he was bad. I wouldn't say that. And the second half, I don't want to call anyone out. That's not helpful. I think of things more in a collective instead of singling people out.
No, to be fair, it's not like you weren't bad. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like, I don't think Sobo was like bad, but in terms of you're looking at like someone that wasn't at the same level as the rest, that was the one I looked at. But he needs those moments, don't he? Because he gives everything for a football club, and he always does. So it's not a knock on him. It's just something that stood out for me a little bit. Felt like he wasn't driving the bus today. Felt like he was happy to kind of just sit and be a passenger today. It just felt like he did try. He just, I don't know, just couldn't find his rhythm. I would say I'd use that. Couldn't find.
It's not all, the thing is, it's not all on him now, is it?
No.
So he's just trying to find his place, and it looks like it's going to be in that position behind Florian Wirtz. So he's just got to sort of tune up what he's being asked to do a little bit. He's not being asked to do 100 things now. He's being asked to do 70, but 70 need to be better, than what we've seen today. And one thing I did like is that, he, from a deeper position, he was sort of spraying them long-range passes to both flanks, which was quite nice because obviously that was one weapon we had with Trent. And we obviously didn't have too much of it last season. But if you've got a player in your midfield that can just get the ball high and wide to your wingers and instantly put your team on the attack, then it's a great, thing to have in your locker. So he was doing that a bit today. And that helped us get us up the pitch, which was good. I say with Sobo, I think he was fine. My only worry is that sort of defensive side of his game. I think we're going to get caught out with him and Grab being box to box when they're both cut up the pitch. I don't know if that's something that is going to improve. I think we might just have to accept it for what it is, to be honest with you.
No, fairs. And Gigi, I'm going to get you to ask you a question because I know you had one for the chat, but let me read these 2 quick super chats and then I'll get you to ask. And apologies for it to cover you, but big up to Alexander as well. So Scanlon and Chambers are way more useful, even if they're the same level technically. At least they can move quicker than a solar eclipse. Who are you trying to diss, by the way? Who's moving slow? Who's moving that slow? Do you know how long it takes? No, but I like that. I like Scanlon as well, but he hasn't. Well, we've seen him in 2 games in preseason so far. And Chambers did well at the back. I think you can see that. But we haven't seen him in his actual position, which is left back. So I don't know what to kind of make of it. So I'd love to have seen a couple of games of him playing in his natural position and seeing what he can do there. He also goes on to say Water needs to come in too, just a senior, more quality, polished version of Trey, and we need someone who can pass the ball quickly to our good players, reads the game well too, and doesn't bomb forward. So big up for those 2 super chats. You guys want to add to those? If you have anything to say, and then Gigi, you can.
No, I mean, I agree. I agree that we need a 6. That it concerns me. It concerns me. If the starting midfield is Wirtz in the 10 and then Soboslai and Gravenberch, I don't know.
Still feel like we need one more in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Fairs.
I think with that, I think I'd be all right with that. I thought under Iraola we were going to be a lot higher up the pitch, which in the first half we were, because I don't think it was necessarily that our press was aggressive. I think we were, I think we were trying to win the ball high up the pitch. I think Monaco were pretty poor playing out, which helped us capitalize and brought us forward. But I don't think it was. I've not seen yet this preseason Iraola say to the defense, right, you're on the halfway line. It's not really been that, and that's what I thought it might be, and it would really compress the pitch, and then we'd see opposition sort of, when they win the ball back, they'd just like hoof it forward, and you'd see your centre back sort of tracking back to recover it, then get forward again and stuff. We're not seeing so much of that. Our line's a bit further back than I thought it would be, which is still leaving that space in midfield. I think it's pre-season, and maybe this comes with just the first team playing together more, getting that sort of chemistry with one another, getting braver and things like that, just getting the line higher and higher. That's going to help Szoboszlai and Grav, because they're going to be able to press shorter distances as opposed to tracking back 30, 40 yards to try and put a challenge in when it's too late. So it's just something that's surprised me really, because I don't want to say we're not pressing the defense, because we are. It's just not as aggressive as I thought it might be. I've actually thought in the second half, it was like Elliott and Kumas that from their goal kick, those two were planted, ready to pounce on the edge of the 18-yard box. I didn't see that in the first half. So I'm trying to just work out how exactly, what is the tactic from Iraola for these players come, start the season. Is it going to be the second half and previous preseason games where, right, soon as that goalkeeper plays that pass, we're on them? Or is it, no, we're going to allow them to play 1 or 2 passes, then we're pressing? And that back line, how high is it meant to be set when the opposition's got the ball in their defence? That's something I don't think has been as clear as I thought perhaps it would be under Iraola in pre-season.
Fairs. Gigi, you had a question. Dean, you can be the first one to answer it.
Yeah, I just thought it was really, really interesting that they held Curtis out today, because the interest from Inter and other teams has been there since the season ended, and like now is the time that they decide to hold him out, which makes me think that he's probably going before the end of the window, which opens up an opportunity to bring in an actual DM. But I don't know what that means, because it doesn't open up a spot for an international player, but it opens up a spot.
Mm-hmm. Dean, what's your thoughts, bro?
So there's no rumor that he was injured. Nothing. He was just dropped.
I haven't seen anything at all, bro. I haven't seen a word from
Fabrizio. Yeah, Fabrizio tweeted that they were holding him out as a precaution because there's interest from Inter and other teams, but not because of injury.
Yeah, he's gone then. Isn't he? He's gone.
Yeah,
that's it. Because that's pre-season. There was plenty of times he could have been playing today. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of space there. So yeah, he's gone. And yes, it's one of them ones, isn't it? If he wants to go, then he has to go, innit? Like, I wouldn't be the first. That wouldn't, like I said before on previous streams, he wouldn't be the first person I'll sell. There's other players I'll sell before him. But if he wants to go, so be it, man. Like, he's not going to sign a new contract. Get whatever you can for him, and then bring someone else in. Like, I'm not of the opinion that we should get Wirtz. I'm not a Wirtz fan. Not Wirtz,
With
Wharton.
Wharton.
And like I said on previous thing, I think Trey can do what Wharton's doing. Not at the same level yet, but the things I'm seeing from Trey, the progressive passing, like his positioning, I honestly feel like he can do that role. I just feel like if we're gonna get a midfielder, get one that's more combative or something, a profile that we haven't got, I'd rather have. I don't want to have something that's similar. Like, yeah, man, get me a profile that we haven't got. But yeah, man, if Curtis ain't here, brother, it is what it is. He wants to go and play. He's mostly thinking, I'm 25, 26. I need to be first team. I need to be starting somewhere. And so be it, man. For his career, he has to go in it. So it is what it is, bro.
Go on, Cav. I'll let you answer. And then I see what Shankly said in the chat. Said Dave O'Cop said he had a hip, missing out today with a hip problem.
I mean, yeah, every time Liverpool sell a player, they've always got a reported injury beforehand. It's the way it goes, isn't it? You know, it's just smokescreen. Could be true, but I think I'd have liked for Jones to have stayed with the new manager, been given a sort of final chance. But in actual fact, you know, with the altercation on the pitch after the last game and some of the stuff that's been said and just the noise around him, if he's upset with being at Liverpool for whatever reason, cool, let's just move on. I'm not here for like the bad energy and stuff. Like, this manager deserves to have a squad that's a bit deeper than the one he's currently got, but also a load of players that are just ready to right the wrongs of last season and push forward and make names for themselves, because there's a bunch of them that are just young with loads of potential and they've got to realize that potential. So it's time to get your head down and work and do what the manager tells you. And if there's characters that are upset for things that happened before the manager, cool, then bounce, because there's no place for you here then. And I don't care if he's homegrown and that causes a complication, or he's scouse and people like having a scouse from the team. I don't care what it is. If you seemingly got a bit of a bad attitude, then just move on. It's just going to... For the past few seasons, Liverpool have had too much going on off the pitch, whether it be player contracts and renewals or someone's upset or unhappy. Let's just shake all of that stuff out. You know, we done well to you remember the season where Virgil, Trent and Salah unsure if they were going to sign, and it was a noise in the background, but you know, we were winning games, so we parked it a little bit. Last year was then Kanate and stuff. There's always these situations when it comes to like stuff off the pitch and, you know, usually contractual. But if it's a player that's unhappy, I put it in the same category. It's just noise that you don't want in the season, when this is meant to be a really progressive side under a new manager that's like Liverpool 2.0. So there's no place for it. And if you lose Curtis Jones and you don't bring another midfielder in, I'm with Dean. If that means Trey has to step in and get them minutes, I don't think we're much worse off, to be honest.
No, fair. So, Gigi, I want to ask then, because I know the rivals will be out there. You mentioned it earlier about, obviously, we're all in group chats where you're going to be with rival fans and they're going to just be annoying. Going to be annoying saying stuff. But 2 games in a row, Liverpool has thrown away a 2-0 lead. I remember last season we was doing a lot of that. Go up in the game, throw it away. Obviously, there's circumstances. We're changing the whole team. You're naturally not going to do that in a Premier League game. You only get, three subs normally, 1 for, concussion protocol. So you get an extra 1, or is it 4 and 1? What do you make of it, though, that we keep, that they keep just throwing away these 2-0 leads?
Nothing.
Yes.
That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see that the team looks good. I'm looking to see connections between the players. I'm looking to see whether it looks like they're actually able to have a style of play and implement what Andoni Iraola would be telling them. Like, I'm looking for them to look organized. I'm looking to really be able to see that they're connected across the pitch, and like that everyone is understanding sort of like, the pressing triggers and everyone's moving together. Like, that's what I'm looking to see. I don't, once you start switching so many players out, like it's gonna get disjointed. There's no way to stop that. Like, and I'm not really concerned about the end result. There's nothing you could do until you start playing games that matter. If this continues once the season starts, then I'm gonna be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because obviously Newcastle is not as strong as they were last season. They've lost a few competitive players in there. But if we go against them and we're 2-0 up, you think cruise control now, see this game out, score some more goals, whatever. But if we drop them, are you going to be like, oh, maybe I should have paid attention a bit more to why we kept dropping these points, dropping these 2-0 leads on now?
No. I mean, I want to see what the squad is going to look like at the end of the window. That's the most important thing for me.
Fairs. Now I got to ask, because obviously we have to have a balanced conversation, because I know some people will be like, well, that's something we need to look at or identify. Yes, obviously we keep rotating players in and out. Mm-hmm. That's definitely a massive contributor to why it happens. But at the same time, we need to make sure whoever comes onto the pitch, because we're not going to be able to keep the same 11 week in, week out. There's going to be substitution. There's going to be players that have to come in, and you want to make sure they're up to speed as well. What do you think, Dean?
I think last season was different because obviously new coach. Last season we just went 2-0 up and just gave the other team straight away, gave them the impetus. So they are trying to get us. That's how it was last season. Yeah. Now I can see similar patterns, but obviously this time it's just different players coming on the pitch. Maybe players are tired because their pressing was high. But yeah, but it's a completely different situation, bro. Different situation. We're not giving the other team the impetus. I just feel like we're bringing on lesser players and or players that hasn't had a pre-season like the first half team players, bro. That's all I think is. Last season was a whole different thing. I think it was down to coaching last season. And the managers are saying, yeah, 2-0 up, let's hold on to this. I reckon next season we're going to be on the front foot all the time, because you saw in that first half how on the front foot we was, bro. So I don't feel like it's going to be a problem, to be honest.
What about you, Kev?
I think there were signs in that first half that we're not a perfect side. We can still be got at. Second half, we wasn't very good at all. I would put that down to the amount of changes, though. That because the start of the second half was the worst of the second half, if you like. The first 10, 15 minutes, like you could tell that there was just a new team put out with loads of changes, and it was everyone was a bit disheveled, and they never really recovered it. They never really got the foothold in the game. They never really got a player that could get on the ball and start dictating and start, building a bit of momentum and stuff. I thought Trey looked to be the most likely one out of everybody, but can't do it himself. And although he did well, just wasn't enough of the ball sticking with the players to be able to build something. So we've yet to see in this preseason Liverpool show that they can get ahead in a game and switch to just keeping possession and controlling games. And so much of what we see in Slot's first year, where we'd get ahead and then we would just keep the ball ticking over, see out the game, or get another one late on. We've not yet seen that, but equally that's probably the thing you're not going to see because of the amount of changes that happen in these games. So it's fair to ask the question. If you've not seen something yet, you can't say that it's going to be there. There's no evidence of it under this manager. But if you're one of those players that played in the second half, I think you'd be really disappointed with your performance. We talk about Liverpool's lack of squad depth. A lot of the players that come on in the second half are the ones that are vying for them places, and they should be, performing well enough that they actually help the manager out by going, hey, look, I can step in and do a job for you. And I'm looking at the likes of Harvey Elliott. If he comes in that second half and plays really well, you can almost bring yourself to think, okay, well, 70th minute, if you're ahead in the game, Wirtz needs to come off, you can put Elliott in there. But based on that performance, no way. Like, that was dreadful. Like, what? And it just was. I don't like being critical of our players, but it was poor. I'd say Trey did okay, and I'd say Rio in moments did okay. But everybody else, I mean, I was a big fan of Ramsey, but Jesus, that performance, terrible. Honest to God. And you're looking at someone like him thinking, I think I might have said it last season, like, why can't he get a chance? We've got no right backs. Why can't he get a chance? And I'm looking at it now going, can't see why. Not very good.
Are you about to agree with Arne Slot? Are you about to say you agree with Arne Slot not playing it?
Never that. But you know, you expect better. And don't get me wrong, it's a change side. There's all them excuses. But it's when I don't mind them getting caught out off the ball because they're learning the tactics. Their teammates probably not doing what they should be doing. There's no chemistry between us. We're all newly put together, and I get all of that. So I'm more focused on what they do on the ball. And I get it. Again, there's the excuse, not played together. There's probably not a pass on. Players probably not made the movement that they should. They should be able to have an option, you know, to play it forward. There's probably not one, and all things like that. But I thought on the ball, they were just poor again, just poor. And you just will not, that the level of performance that you're seeing in the second half is just not going to give you a chance of getting into, you know, Iriola's thoughts for next season. So I think, yeah, we can say it's pre-season. We can say change side, substitution, but a large part of why we didn't play well in that second half is because I think the players just didn't play well. I just don't think they were good at all, to be honest with you.
Gigi, Dean, do you want to add anything to that, or do you want to go to the next question?
No, I agree.
Fairs.
Yeah, man,
I want to ask, who's calling me? You know what I'm saying? Ignore that.
Oh, they do it all the time, bro. Oh.
Yeah, I know, the same group. So no, I want to take it a little bit away from the match for a second, right? Because we signed a centre back, and it felt like there was mixed bag and mix from our community, right? We signed Roland Araujo, yeah, and then for some reason people wanted to crash out straight away, and then some people was on the side of, okay, I don't mind him as a centre back. So I'm gonna go to you first, Gigi, with this one. What was your initial thought when you saw the signing, and what's the expectation for him?
I mean, everyone has been saying, like, get a center back, any center back, just a center back, a defender. It would be great, please. And so they did get a defender, one that they didn't have to, you know, spend a bunch of transfer budget on. And he's experienced. He can come in, and with the amount of money that they spent on Jacquet, if people don't think that he's the like plan A for who they want to start next to Virgil, I don't know what to tell you. But if Araujo is coming in and is going to be sort of like in the Endo Joe Gomez slot instead of Gomez, who's always injured, or Endo, who I don't think is good enough to play center back for us, I think that's fine. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, he goes back to Barcelona at the end of the year. Like, it's, I don't see what the fuss is about. I do think that opens up interesting questions, because with him coming in, you know, we have to do some work behind the scenes to make sure that we can register all the international players that we want to. And I think that he might fit into a salary slot that is going to open up. And with that, I don't know. I think it's a pretty like low risk kind of move. Everyone else is talking about maybe bringing in Konza, but if you bring in Ezri Konza, like, he's going to have to start. Like, you're not going to pay that money for him and then not have him be the starter next to Virgil. And they already are bringing in Jacquet because they want him to start next to Virgil. So I'm just kind of like, you have to be realistic about, you can't bring in a top center back and not have him start.
Fairs. Dean, what about you, man? I've seen some of the content creators, you know, changing their opinions overnight. Big up to Cav for the comment he made in the Coppish watch along as well. For those that was there, Josh, you know, changing his opinion in 24 hours, flip-flopping, as they like to call it. What do you make of the signing, bro, and the kind of mixed bag of, you know, what the fan base have been saying as well?
It's hilarious, bro. It's hilarious, isn't it? Like, obviously, I'm not telling you how. Everyone watches football differently, isn't it? Like I said, some people watch football the telly off, so I can't help certain people, bro. But you know, bruv, I haven't watched him recently. Innit? All I remember of him, I remember him getting sent off. Can't remember the team he got sent off. But when I was watching him 3-4 years ago, I know it's a long time ago. I know he was touted to be the next Varane, Van Dijk sort of player, and he was a talent. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've watched him for the last 2 seasons. I haven't. Seen a couple games of him, looked decent. One game, obviously, he got sent off. But I can't even. I'm happy because we didn't have a centre back. Now we've got a centre back here, bro. And like, if he fulfills what the potential I saw from him before, we've got an unbelievable player here, bro. He's made for the Prem. Strong, fast, tall, wins aerial duels. He's got everything, bro. We just need the concentration. I know he's a bit rash. Everyone was telling me he's a bit rash last couple of seasons, but bro, at the end of the day, we wanted a centre back. We've got one here. Like, we've got Jack here that they think is going to be the guy. So I don't see what the crash out is about, bro. I'm not going to crash out until I see him put in craziness. I'm going to give him an opportunity, see what he does, and go from there, bro. I'm happy we've got a body there, and we can move on to other targets now, bro.
No, fairs. What about you, Kev, man? I'm sure you've seen, well, that's if you've seen it, maybe on Twitter more than the YouTube kind of space, but just to kind of give you the lay of the land, the YouTube space, some of the content creators was just crashing out straight away, man. Just not good enough. Why did we go and buy him? Why did we go and loan him, I should say. And then even when I did the stream the other night, you know, was it 65% said they would sign him, and the rest said, nah, I would never have got him. So there's mixed bags in terms of his injury, you know, profile, how much he's you know, how much games he's spent on the sideline. I didn't see what Twitter had to say. That's one thing I didn't go and check. So if you were there and you saw anything, let me know. But what do you think about the player?
No, look, I seen it because I went onto X and it was all on there. Fabrizio said, you know, here we go, signed, and instantly I was pleased. I was excited. And then I scrolled down a little bit and I seen all of the hate, and I was like, whoa. I don't think there's been a long time since Liverpool acquired a player, and I've seen so much like outrage from fans. Like, there's generally some Liverpool fans that hate this deal, which, you know, if I'm thinking of their reasoning why, you know, he has had some time out of the game when he went and sorted out some mental health issues. And he also has picked up injuries before in the past. And he's had standout games in the Champions League where he's got a red card and cost Barcelona. So, you know, between those three things, people have kind of written him off, which is fine. You know, as Dean says, you shoot how you view football and what you think you're going to get from the player. But for me, I think that Liverpool needed a centre back. I think that we needed somebody around the age that he's at, because we've got 35-year-old Virgil and we've got 19-year-olds with bags of potential. And we need somebody sort of in the middle that has the experience of playing in both, you know, well, European football, really. He's obviously not got any Premier experience. And he's been there, done it a little bit, and can help sort of guide some of the youngsters along with sort of Virgil. And it's as Gigi says, you know, clearly Liverpool have got this idea that Xhaka and Leone are the future centre-backs for Liverpool. So you don't want to bring somebody in that blocks that pathway. But you equally need somebody here and now for next season. So a loan move for a 28-year-old is pretty shrewd, actually. It's quite smart. With an option to buy, if he actually plays well, we can then maneuver a little bit. Potentially Virgil goes at the end of the season. If Araujo does really well, then we can say, well, okay, we'll sign him, and then Xhaka or Leone's broke through as well, and we're manipulating the squad in a little bit of a better fashion. We've got options available to us, shall we say? So I thought it was a really shrewd signing, and I was all right with it. I think that a large part of the crash out has been because he's come now, and everybody's so fixated on getting Barcola and then buy that it's almost like, oh no, we don't want this one, we want this one. You know, if he'd have come at the end of the window after we'd got all these other deals, I think you'd say, yeah, that's a nice little addition to have. So it's just the way that it's kind of fell timing wise and stuff. I think as far as the player is concerned, he's tall, he's strong, he's quick, he's good 1v1. He is aggressive. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. And he's, I suppose, in a similar ilk to Konate, which last season a lot of people didn't like Konate, but I know me, you, and Saf were talking a few days back saying people are going to see real quick what this Liverpool side looks like without him. So I think it's a good thing that we've got somebody in that's of a similar type of, similar type of ilk of player. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. And I like a redemption story. I like the fact that he's Uruguayan and people go, yeah, is the Nunes a centre-backs then? He's going to be trash. I like the fact that that he's had these mental games and he's got a red card and everyone puts him in this box of being rash and aggressive and a bit of a bozo. I like the fact that, he's had some time away from the game to sort of focus on his mental health. I would then want to see an experienced 28-year-old that's gone through that process turn up at Liverpool with fans supporting him in a new league, one that's probably going to be quite well suited to him in terms of playing style, and have a second coming, if you like, be the player that a lot of players thought he could be. And if that's at our club, then that's great. I think that there's bags of potential with this deal, and be it alone, it's pretty low risk, to be honest. If he gets injured, like everybody says, and Gomez stays injured, and Xhaka, what's going on with him is a bit injury. Yeah, the whole thing could go to shit. But if getting this loan deal meant that a lot of the funds could be spent on Barcola, I'm totally fine with that.
First, Pops had a question before I get you guys' final thoughts. Says, Endz, want to hear from you and the panel on Lamine Camara. I'm just going to say, did he even play? That's what I'm going to say. Did he play? Because I didn't notice him in that first half at all, if I'm going to be completely honest.
You know what?
I saw Grabs cook.
Yeah,
that's what I was watching.
I was watching that for him because I thought to myself, let me see what this guy is saying. Because there's been a lot of thing about him and Kamara. Obviously, Sangera's already gone to Brentford, but a lot of talk was, he didn't stand out. He didn't do nothing. I know they were unfair in the first half, but he didn't look like a stature. He didn't look like, nah. Trey will beat him up, bruv. He doesn't even look like he's physically imposing, bruv. So, yeah, I don't think we're missing out on him, bruv. If he goes to Crystal Palace where, I think he's supposed to be, I don't think we're missing that. Maybe he comes back to bite us later on, but I don't think we're missing out.
Yeah, I was just looking around and just thinking, until someone mentioned it in the chat, I was like, oh, yeah, we are playing against this team.
Yeah.
I was like, but I haven't seen him. What did you think, Gigi?
I got to be honest. I didn't notice. There was nothing. I forgot that AS Monaco was the team that he actually played for. I didn't notice him.
That's what I'm trying to say, innit? Like you now got the opportunity. If you're talking about you stand out against a club that potentially you could sign for, or the fan base have been calling for you and saying, yep, he's one of the next ones up. And that's not to say he's not going to go on to have a good career. But I didn't see him. Like, I didn't notice him in the mid. And that's what you want to do, innit? You want to go, oh, take him and put him in our team. He could do this for us. And I didn't see that.
I didn't spot it. I must admit, I was I wasn't thinking this way. I was purely just looking at our side and what our side were doing. And there wasn't a player that stood out to me, not until, that what's his name, Glovin, the guy that scored the penalty against us, the Russian. I was like, oh yeah, he was a pretty good player a few years back. I remember that guy. And then when Bruno come on, I thought, oh, he's pretty decent. Then he tripped over his own feet in the box. I thought, I'll forget him then. There wasn't anybody that particularly stood out to me. I'd say, I'm trying to remember the game back. If anything, I think his midfield partner was probably better. Well, that Cabral, is it?
Yeah, I think that's his name.
I think out of the two, he probably looked a shade better. But yeah, a lot of talk about the player. It just was a bit of a quiet one. Didn't stand out. So it's just one game, innit? Maybe he's a lot better than that.
That's the kind of hope. But listen, it's not a shade on him. It's just if that's your audition, I don't know. And maybe he stood out for others because maybe you were focused on him and you had the lens on him to go, let me see what he's doing. And maybe, someone else would be like, nah, he done way better than what you think he did, guys. then that's fine. But I just didn't notice him enough in the game. I just didn't see enough from him. You know, if he was clamping, like, you know, running away, clamping, you know, Sobbo and running away from him, or clamping, you know, Gravs and getting away from him, or, you know, just dictating the tempo when they do get on the ball. I just didn't notice that. I think he did complete quite a lot of passes from what I've seen. His pass completion was quite high, to be fair, from what I've seen from the stats, but I just didn't notice it within the game. But just to kind of get you guys' final takes, man, and final opinion on the preseason thus far in the game, and I'll go Gigi first. You know, what's your final thoughts?
I really would like them to bring in a right back. I don't think they will. But if we wind up with Araujo at right back, I'm gonna be just like very upset. And I think they're, you know, they've been saying that nothing's going to change in the midfield unless they make a sale, and I think they might make a sale. And so I hope that we bring in a profile that we don't currently have, and someone who can be a little bit more physical and help protect Virgil and whoever his partner is. That's my hope. In addition to, like, please finally get the deal for Barcola done and like bring him in. Like, those are the three things that would be like top of my list. And I like hope that when the window closes, those three things have been solved. I think it's probably really unlikely that they're going to bring in anybody at right back, even though I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't know, like, Jed Spence is homegrown. He seems like a good option. Tottenham doesn't really seem like they're like, you know what I mean? He's not really going to play there. Like, he could be a left back backup. He would be fine at right back, and we wouldn't have to depend on Frimpong every week. We could, you know what I mean? It could be like a game by game situation. You know what I mean? I just feel like we need more. I feel like we need more depth there. I feel like we're going to get caught out if we go with what we have. And then I really, really would like to see them bring in a DM.
Fairs. What about you, Dean? Final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, bro. I think the highs that we've seen was really high because the football we're playing now, when we've got the right players out there, I feel like it's good football, bro. And the closing down, obviously the drop off ain't gonna be as much as we've seen because we can't make that much subs in the Prem game. So yeah, man, if we could get a few players and then the drop off won't be that steep, I feel like we're going in the right direction, bro. Because like I said, the pressing's high, the energy in the players is good. Like, the options are decent. Like, in that midfield area, obviously I'd like to see one more player in there to compete, a more competitive player. But bruv, man, I can't moan, bruv. When you look at the squad depth, what the manager's done so far is give me something to think of. And I thought, you know what? Cool. It could be good. As long as we don't have no injuries and everything's perfect, bro. But it's obvious we need players. But yeah, the highs have been good, bro. I can't lie. It's much better than from last season, bro. So yeah.
Nice one, bro. What about you, Kev?
Yeah, I think Dean said it pretty well. The highs are good, and they are. That first half, we look really good. And Isak's here, which is nice to see. I almost forgot about this guy. And like you said earlier on, Dean, he's involved, and damn, he's the only striker we've got. People keep talking about he's gonna, perhaps pick up an injury or need resting at times. Yeah, equally, when he does play, though, we need him to perform. So it was good to see that he looked like he felt more comfortable today. See him get frustrated at Simi on a couple of occasions for not squaring the ball to him and stuff. And that's good. You want your striker to feel like he is the main man, to have that ego, to be like, no, you need to pick me out. I need to score goals. We all want that. So good to see him back. Improved performance from Wirtz and everybody else. First off was good. It's an obvious thing to say. I've been saying it all summer, though, is the depth is worrying. The defense is worrying. And I think what we thought when we brought in Areola still remains the case, that I think we're going to be really good going forward. And I'm not so confident about us, keeping clean sheets. So we're in for an exciting season, a lot more exciting than last season. What it's going to result in at this point in time, No idea. No idea, to be honest with you. We've got two more games. Como, both of them, obviously, before we go away at Newcastle. You'd like to see the starters play 70 minutes, some of them 90, and then we can see what we touched upon earlier, not only good going forward, but a period of the game where we just control the ball and just keep it moving around, because my biggest worry next season is that we're going to be a team it's just basketball. We just don't know how. We know how to score goals, just no idea how to control a game or hold the ball and see a game out, and be boring at times. And we wouldn't have seen it because the first team hasn't played enough together and for long enough together. But we've got 2 more games to try and just work that element into the side. And look, first game of the season is Newcastle away. It's probably going to be end to end. Just the way that those games usually go. And then you've got Forest after that at home. So yeah, look, I think if you rank in the preseason to this point, you'd say it's been okay. Yeah, I'd like to have been much more excited than what I am at the minute. It's just kind of been a bit steady. It's been a bit like par, really. So hopefully we see some more things in the next couple of games.
No, fairs. And I think for myself, similar to you guys, I think Gigi, we want some signings. I still think maybe a right back, but whether or not the club thinks the same thing, I doubt it, because they've got players that can fill in that, but that position at the moment. You've got Ramsey, you've got Frimpong, you've got Araujo that's coming in as well. He can fill in that pocket of space as well if needs be. I just think we just need to get that done. If Jones is going to go, get someone else in the midfield, or if not, it's giving someone an opportunity. I still think we need maybe one more. And kind of just get in those right wingers or the wingers across the line that we're trying to buy. I'm trying to keep this as much as a squad together as possible, because I feel like the further we go into competition, the more minutes will be there for everyone, instead of just trying to go into it with a depleted squad, or a squad that maybe you've got a quality on the bench, but then if he's not working, you don't have the quantity where you can really rotate and try and find a solution. You just spoke about the way we played. It might be a bit of a basketball game. I want us to go back to being chaotic though, where the other team can't rest. They're just like, is this the tempo in the game the whole game? And you're hoping that defensively we can nullify them as much as we possibly can, but hopefully with them being tired and we can keep stretching the game and the team, we can score more goals. Because before, we made it too easy last season. We were resting, they had time to rest. If they scored, they weren't even tired. Most of the teams came off the pitch not even breaking a sweat. You want it to be like, look, you're going to have to earn it this season. If you want to beat us, earn it. You know what I mean? You're going to have to run more than us. You're going to have to work. But we're going to be playing this game at a high tempo. But you're right. We need to find the medium, which is the fine line of still playing that way, but also know when to put the foot on the ball. And that's why I said about making sure you keep certain styles of midfielders within the team. That's why Curtis Jones, whether you like him or not, he will be the one where maybe you put him on the pitch and he goes, guys, listen, we're 4-0 up. We don't need a next goal. We just control it now. We're 3-0 up. We don't need to be doing this. But when you don't have those players, the substitutions will be the basketball players. It will be no one's going to put their foot on it. It will be pass into the final for progressive passes out to the wide men. We're attacking, counter attacks, attack. That's all you're going to see. But I want us to be that team again. I don't want us to be a team where everyone's like, oh, walked off the pitch and yeah, that was kind of easy. And want to walk off and guys are sweating and they're like half, they're just half like, nah, I don't want to do an interview. I'm too tired. Let me just go and get in the changing room. Last season was a bit, everyone wanted to do an interview after playing us. So I want us to go back to that, man. So we got 2 games left. You're rightly put. Como, one behind closed doors at 12. And then we've got the one at Anfield, which is going to be at 6 p.m. So let's see, man. Let's see. Let's see. But big up Cav, big up to Gigi, big up to Dean. I know he's not there at the moment. But yeah, great conversation, guys. I appreciate you guys finding the time and jumping in, man. Do you guys want to add anything just before we go?
Nope. I think we covered the game pretty well. Actually, no, I will end it with one thing, right? I've given Cody Gakpo a lot of hate. Dean won't agree with me on this. I thought it was all right today. And there was I won't lie, at one point today, I did say, I might be all right with this guy staying, you know. so I'll go halfway with my
beat someone up
apology.
in the midfield? Was it after they beat someone up in the barge and
exactly
carried the ball?
That. Exactly that. And I was just like, yeah, do you know what? We might see a different Gakpo in this forward line. I might be all right with him staying. There's talks about him going with Spurs for 75 million. I thought he snapped their hand off. And then after today, I was like, yo, it might be worth 75 million, you know? So, good from him as well. But I think we covered the game pretty well. And look, a couple of weeks now, hopefully get some signings in. Just want to attack the season from the off, you know? So let's see.
Cool. What about you, Gigi? You want to add anything before we go?
No. I hope we focus on keeping as many players as we can, and not selling people just for the sake of selling them. If they want to go, there is nothing you can do to stop that. But other than that, like, please, like, we just need depth. We need depth. That's it.
Yes. All right, guys, listen, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. If you do, and if you did, drop a like. If not, I don't know, I hope you stub your toe, man. Is what it is. Guys, I will be back maybe tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Maybe there's more news on Barcola. I think Rojo has done his medical now today, so maybe there's a full announcement tomorrow. I'll be looking forward to seeing what that interview's like. The reasons why maybe he decided he wanted to come on loan, if it was his thing or is it a club thing, or just to clear it up a little bit, because I feel like the fan base was like, why would Barcelona loan him if he was that good? So maybe hopefully an interview clears that a little bit. Maybe he just wanted a new challenge. I know we heard it from Trent before, you know what I mean? He said he wanted a new challenge. But let's see. Guys, catch you in a bit. Go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you are around the world. Peace.